CBT News, celebrating 10 years of delivering the news and content automotive professionals count on. CBT News, 10 years strong. Subscribe today. Welcome to CBT News with Bridget Fitzpatrick.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to CBT News. I'm Bridget Fitzpatrick. Thank you so much for joining us. Here's Chris Riggins with today's top stories.
Thanks, Bridget. Starting off our coverage, Americans are now paying nearly 14% more on their car insurance policies than they were a year ago, according to consumer finance company Bankrate. In comparison to 2018, monthly minimum payments have risen by as much as 37%. Inflation, interest rate hikes, and vehicle shortages have steadily increased the cost of owning a vehicle since the COVID pandemic. Two of the cheapest cities to buy insurance, according to Bankrate's research, are Boston and Seattle, where drivers spend 1.3% and 1.4% respectively of their annual income on monthly payments. Up next, the Biden administration broadened eligibility for its EV tax credit rules, a move which will allow more models to qualify. The change updates the Inflation Reduction Act's weight requirements after Ford, Tesla, and GM complained that some of their EVs were barred from earning incentives because they weighed too little to be classified as SUVs, which have a higher price limit under the bill. However, since several automakers cut prices on their lineups to improve credit eligibility, it remains unclear if the update will affect prices in the future. CEO Elon Musk and Tesla have been found not liable in a shareholder lawsuit over a Twitter post made in 2018. In the tweet, the entrepreneur announced that he expected the publicly traded automaker would be going private, adding that the funding to do so was secured. A subsequent SEC investigation found his statements to be false, which led investors to claim damages resulting from the market's reaction to the post. The jury, who announced the verdict last Friday, were only in deliberation for 2 hours before reaching the unanimous decision. Wrapping up our stories, although global supply chains have started to stabilize, many automakers continue to feel the impact of semiconductor chip shortages. After reporting disappointing fourth quarter numbers, Ford CFO John Lawler noted that many chips remained in short supply and predicted the shortage would continue, commenting, quote, "In 2023, there is still going to be a volatility around chips," end quote. Since the COVID pandemic handicapped production and mining operations around the world, the auto industry has been forced to cancel the manufacturing of roughly 18 million vehicles. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next is Eugene Fields, president of the National Association of Minority Automobile Dealers. We'll be right back.
Delivering the news dealers count on for 10 years. Subscribe today and join thousands of other automotive professionals. CBT News, 10 years strong.
It's been a few months since the National Association of Minority Automobile Dealers, or NAMAD, named their new president, Eugene Fields. On today's edition of Inside Automotive, we're pleased to welcome Mr. Fields to talk more about his role and vision for the association as we move through the new year. Take a look.
Can you share a little bit of the advice that maybe Damon left you with before he turned over the keys to the office?
Absolutely. The biggest piece of advice is the members who I represent are my family, and to treat them right. Although they may not always treat me right, but my job is to treat them right and let them know that I am advocating for them. Mm-hmm. And that's what I intend to do. And that's what I have been doing for the last 3 months, is advocating for all of our members and making sure that every decision that I make is for the best interests of them and as well as the dealer body.
Sure. As you know, NAMAD has made tremendous strides in the increase of number of minority-owned dealerships. Talk to us about your vision in this area and the future.
Absolutely. My vision is first and foremost is to keep the main thing the main thing. Our mission is to increase the number of ethnic minority-owned new franchise dealerships. So that's continuing to keep the open lines of communication with our manufacturers and making sure that we're holding them accountable. Also, as our chairman Damian Mills mentioned, accountability is key. at our last conference. So making sure that we continue to hold our manufacturers' foot to the fire, and also working with financial institutions because access to capital is a challenge for us. We want to make sure that we have those lines of communication to continue to grow and expand.
Yeah, there's no question about it. It almost starts and ends with capital, doesn't it? If a minority can't get their hands on the right capital or can't partner with somebody that's got that capital, then it makes it very tough. I mean, I think the average price of a dealership today is around $20 million. So it is not not for the faint of heart. That's for sure. You've got to be able to get your hands on that capital. However, that being said, the OEMs can play a pretty big role in this area, right? Not just awarding the dealership point or making it happen, but they can also make it happen by providing the necessary funds to what would be minority dealer principals, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And as I start to meet with them, that's the number one thing on my radar is really understanding what programs are currently in place, how we can enhance those programs that are currently in place, and if there aren't any programs in place, how we can get some in place.
Yeah, for sure. What other priorities are you looking at for the association in addition to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Another priority for me is really increasing our footprint and our presence in the industry. So you'll see us do a lot more branding, a lot more messaging on social media, things like LinkedIn and Instagram, as well as YouTube. Also, I look to really bridge the gap, break some barriers down and be a bridge to our next gen members, as well as be that bridge to various vendors and OEMs. So looking to strengthen our relationship externally, as well as strengthen our relationship internally as an organization as we continue to grow.
All right, be sure to watch that interview in its entirety right here at cbtnews.com. That wraps up our show for today, but we invite you to join us back here again tomorrow morning for all the latest news and trends impacting the retail automotive industry. And be sure to follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. I'm Bridget Fitzpatrick. Thanks for watching.
CBT News, your #1 resource for auto industry news and content. Join the #1 most watched newscast in the automotive industry. CBT News, 10 years strong. Subscribe today.